Vital Supervision is a web application. It is a single server you install on your site. This server is what communicates to your instruments and brings data back to a database running in the background. It is Microsoft SQL Server running in the background. We use the historian that way. All clients are web-based. There isn't any software to install on the clients, and we use the web interface mainly for its convenience. For IT to push client updates to all the users who use the system, it is not an easy task, and it requires a lot of coordination and maintenance activity at your site. We tried to eliminate that by going fully web-based for the user interface. This allows you to use the features of a browser. It allows you to have multiple tabs open across the top of the screen, giving access to different screens at once. If you have a multi-monitor system, in a control room, or even at your own desk, you can open a tab on each screen and keep track of, for example, a map and the device grid. This is a notification screen, which shows live data. As new instrument events occur, they appear here. If a radiological alarm occurred, it would appear here and be colored appropriately, red. An alarm's faults would be yellow. Green means there was an alarm, but it is now cleared. It shows you general status, what the instrument is, the unique name and/or serial number of the instrument. It also shows how long that event occurred. For example, was it in an alarm state for 1 minute, 10 seconds, 1 hour, or 10 hours? You can go back and look at all of the events to see what happened. This is the acknowledgement screen. Once you are aware and have responded to the event, you can click on the event and acknowledge it, selecting someone is looking into this event. It is a live view, keeping track and making sure all events are responded to. It can show only active alarms or the whole history. The search feature can be used to look for a specific instrument that alarmed. It allows you to quickly get to the information you need and respond to it. The maps are live and interactive. You can zoom in and out. The end user can create as many maps as they would like. To do so, upload an image, position the instruments where they live on the image. Vital then starts showing live data from those instruments. It shows the status and even key measurement data from that instrument. In this map, there are echogammas positioned around the site perimeter. By setting this up, if an instrument alarms, you know the physical location. For example, if it is the echogamma that lives on the east side of the site, you can radio workers in that area to have them investigate. On the left, middle area, it shows a list view of all instruments that are on the map. Even though this view is currently zoomed in, it still shows all instruments that are on the map. This allows you to always see the state of all instruments on the current map view. On the far left is the navigation, which gives you access to everything in your system, key screens and features of the system. For this demonstration, we are logged in as an administrator. This shows everything that is available. It is not meant to be complex. The user interface was simplified as much as possible because supervision is meant to make it easy to respond quickly, without having to be an expert on the instrument in order to really know what is going on across your site. It is meant for high-level oversight of what is happening. As previously mentioned, all kinds of maps can be created. This shows a drilled-down view of a specific floor in a building. You can show what's in the room and put the instruments where they are physically located. For example, if you had cams around the glove box, you can show that. There is flexibility to create whatever you want here. This example was taken from Google Maps of a satellite view of a naval base site where they're doing work. They might have perimeter monitors around the outside or at the gates leading into the site. You can set this up yourself and the images can come from whatever you have access to. Images should be JPEG, JPG, PNG, or BMP format to upload. When you click on an instrument, you are brought to the device detail page. This shows the dose rate. The blue button at the top right says it is currently showing live data, which means it is showing a small window of approximately 10 minutes of what is happening with the instrument. Click on any point in time to see what the measurement values were at that point. If there was a spike in a measurement reading, you can see exactly what the readings were at that time. Each screen will be unique to the instrument. An echogamma has 2 GM tubes in it, a high range and a low range. It can show total dose and dose rate. There are other things like GM tube voltage, low power voltage supply, and temperature of the instrument. This is state of health information. For every instrument connected to Vital Supervision, we review all transmittable data during the integration process. We try to record as much useful information as possible. This may include maintenance information, such as the date of the last calibration, if the instrument stores that data. It could be the voltages, temperatures, when an event occurred, when the last filter was changed on a cam, or how many hours have been run through the filter. You will be able to see this data remotely, which is very helpful for site maintenance activities. This is a device view of an Alpha Sentry cam. An Alpha Sentry cam has a PIPS detector in it which provides spectra. When you click in time, you will see the spectra that was collected for that analysis and inspect it. If you're looking at higher readings or even an alarm state, you can look at the spectra to see if it was caused by background or was there really an event there. To see historical data, you can click on History and change the time to look at more history across the product. You can look back weeks, months, years, for as long as you have been monitoring the system. Again, click on any point in time to inspect the data at that time. On the middle left side, you can see the notifications. If an instrument has any faults or alarm notifications, they will appear here. I can see the cam had a timeout issue, meaning someone unplugged the back. It could be a fault like you can't talk to the instrument, or it could be that the filter door was open, meaning someone's changing the filter. You can see the important physical events that happened. On the bottom left column, if you have the privilege to do administrative tasks, these will appear. This screen is the audit logs. The audit log allows you to see if any changes occurred to the system, changes made to the Vital Supervision software. This could be user administration seen here. You can also see what the changes are. This shows the old value and the new value as changes are made. Here a change was made to the dose thresholds, the alarm threshold. This was set to get a warning when 75% of the alarm threshold has been reached. Your system audit log gives the history of what happened to the system. If you are curious why an instrument didn't alarm, you can go see what the set points are, if they were changed, when it was done, who did it, and what the previous value was. This allows you to reverse the settings if needed. This is the user management screen. As you add new users to the system and assign roles, the roles give the permissions. You can assign a user multiple roles. For example, an instrument technician has a role as an instrument tech and control room operator. This person is maintaining the instruments, so both permission sets can be given. The instrument tech might be able to take an instrument offline to do maintenance, but also he would most likely want to be able to review the data and look at it on screen. You would give the basic control room operator permissions so he can go test that he put the instrument back online and view screens to check that it is functioning properly and live data is coming over. There are some global device settings. For each type of instrument, there are basic settings that can have defaults set. They can be set points or alarm set points, as well as thresholds, to receive a warning before the instrument goes into alarm. These warnings are only seen within Vital Supervision. Vital Supervision calculates that the instrument has reached 70% of the alarm threshold, so it will indicate this on screens within the software. Roles are very easy to set up. Click on any user role and you will see all the permissions they can have. Some permissions include being able to create new device grids, add, maintain, or change things, add new users, or change passwords. This is the telemetry view. This shows a live view of all instruments that meet a given search criteria. This was a search for a specific RWP. It finds all instruments like dosimeters that as workers enter were logged in under RWP. They all appear here. Here is all the DMC 3000 dosimeters that are logged in under that. There also might be instruments in that area. Other search criteria can be set up for fixed instruments, for example, everything in a certain room. You can also control which columns you want to see for each type of instrument. Each instrument is in its own section because each instrument has different kinds of information it can show. You can also reorder the columns. For example, if the doses are most important, they can be moved to the first column. Since the data is live, you can see if there is an error with an instrument. The blue triangle appears as a warning when the instrument is approaching the set threshold values. In this case, it has reached 75% of the threshold of the alarm set point. This screen is used in conjunction with your radio system, so you can talk to the other workers who are out there and give them instructions to try to lower their dose by telling them to back away from the pipe or move to their left. It allows for the situation to be controlled remotely. Often you're also looking at cameras in that area to help manage this task. Search criteria on a specific room can be saved for future use. There is no limit as to how many can be saved. These are typically useful for outages where you're monitoring specific maintenance tasks going on throughout the site. They can be put up on different screens, having different RP techs or managers monitoring the data and controlling the situation. Vital Supervision is very flexible and easy to use. You do not need to be an expert on an instrument. It provides live data quickly in a simple but dynamic way.